Welcome to the Expect Success Podcast, a presentation of GeorgeBalek.com with your host, George Balek. This podcast is for all things personal development. Don't expect success, prepare for it. Please welcome your host, George Balek.
Welcome to Expect Success at GeorgeBalek.com. Simon Sinek, he's a British-American author, motivational speaker, and organizational consultant. He is the author of 5 books, including my favorite, Start With Why. Now, as you may or may not know, your body responds to nerves and excitement the same way. But you can learn to interpret it differently. Train your mind to perform under pressure by shifting your narrative. Simon Sinek explains how. Listen to Simon.
I was also watching the Olympics. And this is what I realized this when I was watching the London Olympics, so a couple Olympics ago. And I was annoyed by how all the journalists asked all the athletes the same stupid question. Literally, everyone. Were you nervous? Or are you nervous? Whether it was before or after the event. Every single time. And every single time, all the athletes gave the exact same answer. No, I was excited. No, I'm excited. Every single time. These elite athletes had learned to interpret body stimulus. What are the signs of nervousness? Your heart races, you visualize the future, your hands get clammy. What are the stimulus for excitement? Your heart races, you visualize the future, your hands get clammy. They had learned to interpret what their body was telling them, not as nerves, but as excitement. And the reason the journalists said, "Were you nervous?" is because they would be nervous. Athletes would never say that to each other. They say, "That was exciting." So I tried it. I did a little test on myself, right? I'm on a plane. We start hitting some really bad turbulence. I go, and then I say to myself, literally out loud, "This is exciting." And I was fine. And I was fine. So I do it a lot now. When I find myself getting nervous, I say to myself, "This is so exciting," and I'll explain the reason to myself why. So, like an actor, you don't get nervous when you go on stage anymore, but occasionally you do. So I get to go on stage a lot, and I don't really get nervous much anymore, but I was going to present to 3,000 chiefs of police right in the middle of all this police brutality hullabaloo. And I got really nervous because the stakes were really high, you know? And I was literally getting nervous backstage. And I said to myself, this is so exciting. I have an opportunity to talk to a group of people who can actually affect change in this country. This is really exciting. Now, I could have said the same thing. I'm so nervous. I'm about to talk to people who can... But the interpretation was excitement. Just change the narrative. It works brilliantly well.
Now that's awesome. Now for more from Simon Sinek, simply search YouTube and go to his website, startwithwhy.com. His famous book, Start With Why, is available at his website and or Amazon.com. And as the late, great Jim Rohn used to say, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Today you've been hanging out with Simon Sinek. Keep up the momentum. Subscribe to our newsletter so you never miss another episode. We'll catch you on the next show, and thanks again so much for listening. See ya.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Expect Success Podcast with your host, George Balek. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please rate, subscribe, and review. And find more great content online at GeorgeBalek.com and on Facebook and Twitter at George Balek. We'll catch you next time. And remember, don't just expect success, prepare for it.